Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I've got a non-bingo-y rack, but it's fairly balanced, so I should be able to play through this. Bit part is not valid in Scrabble, but I do have it on my rack. Now, great start for opponent, nearly 50 points. What can I do? And can I get value from these scoring tiles? A can go next to J or Z. But I may struggle to play more than just a couple of tiles. I guess I can play more at the top. I have Brat for 19. That's pretty good. And I don't think I can do anything better than this. Just wondering if I can get my B next to the A. Well, I can, in the sense that I can play Tab, and that preserves the R, which is a good tile. So yeah, I think I am going with this. That's better. Wow, look at that. Oh, I draw only consonants. So super non-bingo-y. Great, just 17 for opponent. What can I do? I have an L for going on the end of J. So I have Pearl. Can I do better? 23 points. I'd rather play the F. Let me take this back. See if I can find something better. Abo only takes an S. I don't have any extensions that I can see. So what about playing Flip for 20? I have Flirt in the same spot. What about Flirty across here? Only 14 and providing loads of floaters. Yeah, and any column 7 plays provide access to triple word squares, so I'm coming back to Pearl. Still only one vowel, but I think the rack just good enough to struggle on. Unfortunately, opponent has not bingoed, so I'm not too far behind. W and F both non-bingo-y. Can I play off both of them? I retained the F for FY. Not that that was the reason for the retention, but a consequence of it. Not seeing any W and F plays. Well, I have Wifty in row J. That's quite nice. It gets the F tripled. And SRR is not a terrible rack leave. R is a good tile. And opponent changes. Fantastic. So I have Wifty here for 22. Do I have anything better? Not that I can see. Well, my vowel drought continues. I do have Chi in a couple of spots, but leaving a very unbalanced rack. I'm just wondering if Wifty takes an S in front. Not sure about that. Through a U, I would have Souk. This is a tricky rack. Do I dump the Q? Well, I get such a miserly score. It's quite well, Cheese in column 5, 24 points, probably better than changing. Painful as it is to burn the S. But if I change, I get 0 score. Now, what I could do is play Ralph in row D. 22 points, keeping QRS. Might be worth doing. Now I get a little bit more for Cheese. So do I do this? That's 28. I think I probably do, although this rack leave is deeply unattractive. However, the alternative I considered of Ralph, 6 fewer points and it retains the Q. So I think this has to be better. And this has to be better than just G for 11 in row E. The S is adding 17 more points of score, so I'm going with this. Okay, well this doesn't feel as bad as it looks. I've still got only one vowel, but the Y I think helps this rack quite a lot. I may be able to play hardly, and I can, which gets rid of 6 tiles. So, do I play that? It's in column 2. Actually, I can play something slightly different. I can play Harry rather than hardly, which gets the H tripled and then doubled. So is this the play? I am opening up column 1, but 46 points is a big score. It's 2/3 of a bingo. Just wondering about playing Hydra instead, but then that provides easy hooks in row O, so I don't think I will. D and L not great, so what about Hydral? I think this is good. 50 points, it's more points, it's a better rack leave, and column 1 was good, so providing 2 scoring spots is better than providing 1. I'm going with this. Hydral not good. I'm reverting to plan A. Harry for 46. Well, not great. Not great. I am not picking well this game. I do have a slender lead. That could vanish. I have the FUL ending, but it doesn't go well with the rest of the rack. I have fluid on my rack. Well, can't see anywhere great for that. Oh, wow, look at that. Opponent bingos for nearly 100 points. Painful. And I'm not in a position where I can reply. Rake takes nothing in front that I've got. Possibly nothing at all. I don't wish to play fluid in row N because of the scoring options in row O. So what do I have in row D? Onto an E, I would have fuddle. Ah, well, I have fluid up here, and this is a far more attractive proposition. It scores well, 37 points. The F covers the double letter square and is not a particularly useful floater in row A. I am going with this. Finally, an E through, well, no, I'm not seeing a bingo, an 8 with this rack. I do have the DE beginning and ED ending. Just wondering about indebted through an I. I think that would be good. No floating I's available. Maybe opponent will provide one. Oh, wow, look at that. Back-to-back bingos for opponent. Great spot. I not available for indebted. So, I now trail by 90. Still one blank to come. What to do? I have bread, which scores 30 points, and this is probably the best possible rack leave, and I'm keeping the board open, and I'm stopping opponent from playing in that spot. And I'm dealing with both duplicates, so I think this is the play. And the rack's slowly getting better. The W, the fly in the ointment this turn. So I'm not... Oh, wow. Unbelievable. Triple from opponent. 176 points and his third back-to-back bingo. I can sense that this game is not going my way. I trailed by 233 points, 28 tiles to come. So, what do I have here? Through an E, I would have wintered. That's not available. Very few floaters. So there's the D of bread. That provides nothing. And then V and O of Volante. No. Now, rake does take a D in front, which I have. But I'm not seeing anything. U is good. So do I have a 5-letter W play? W, E, L, or I, L? No. I would need... Well, I just don't have a 5-letter play. But maybe I should play a shorter word. I have wild. Let me see what that looks like. That's 34 points. Yeah, and the rack lever's good. So I'm going with this. Finally, a decent rack. But far too little and far too late. I would need about 3 back-to-back bingos to come back into this game, and I suspect that even that wouldn't be enough. Is opponent about to have a 4th bingo? Remaining tiles do look pretty bingo-y. G not available as a floater. Just 32 for opponent. He's really taken his foot off the brake, off the accelerator. So what am I going to do here? Where is the best lane? Well, what about column 15, beginning with D? So DEP. Not seeing anything. Should I go through candidate tiles for the blank? I'm not feeling confident that there is a bingo in column 15 beginning with D. No, so where else to consider? Well, row B. Not seeing, well, there will be something there. There'll be something ending in T, I'm sure. So at the moment I have nothing. What about a play beginning with O? No. I have pretend on my rack, nowhere for it. 10 minutes on my clock. Just considering column 15. Let me consider this rack plus a D. Not seeing anything. Still nothing. No. Okay, so a row C bingo won't get doubled. A row B bingo will get doubled, but will provide access to row A. What goes after S? The T does. Well, let me just say I do have terpene, and I'm minded to play this because the P gets doubled. It doesn't provide anything for opponents. And let me just score a little bit more by placing the blank in a better spot. So terpene for 68. And not bad. But I think falling slightly short of a bingo. I climb above the 300-point mark. Close to geognost, although blocked by the queue, and I don't quite have the tiles. D is not a useful floater in bread, certainly not at the beginning of a word. Still lanes on the board. Row N is probably the best one. Wow, opponent signalling that he's jolly close to a bingo, but look at the remaining tiles. Super bingo, eh? Now, do I really not have a bingo here? I don't think I do. Can't do much about opponent's bingo in column 11, and I think he's going to have bingos all over the board. 8 minutes on my clock. So eng is good. Do I have something? So I could play gongs. 33 points. Takes out column 15, or restricts column 11. Attracts opponent to row N, which is good because of access to triple word square. G, not particularly useful. So there's a lot right with this. And the score is good from a rack with no scoring tiles. I'm going with this. Okay, pretty good. Looks close to a bingo. Camstone through an S doesn't work. What about the T? Nothing. What about the E? The E is not available. The Q restricts the number of tiles that are available. The R is available. Wow, okay, so opponent bingos, not a surprise. Do I have a 7 with this rack? Opponent over 500 points now. And are there any floaters I've not considered? What about the O? Not seeing anything there. I've considered the T and the R. Tab takes an S, so that was a 7-letter lane for bingos ending in S. I may have had an option there. Serpent, present, repents. I would have had repents in row E. Well, that would have been a little bit better. So I think the thing to do is probably to get value from the triple word square in row O, which is made available by pushing opponent down into column row N. 3 tiles left. Just wondering about playing 2 to give myself the possibility of bingoing out. This is quite a good 5-letter set. So Mo 426. And I draw the V, of course. So I'm not bingoing. Wow, I'm nearly 400 points, which isn't a bad score, but look at opponent, about 160 ahead. Looks like opponent probably struggling with vowels. So do I definitely not have a bingo here? T, well, and are no longer available as floaters. Nothing with the D. Nothing with the G. Okay, so I don't. Opponent's got ATU. So is he going out? He's got Utah in column 15. He's got Ratu at the top. So he is going out. This is my last play. Vog is good, but 3 consonants requires 3 vowels or a T. So V, well, I've got nothing to go next to the G. I think playing the V is going to be necessary to maximize the value of the final move, taking into account count back 6 minutes on my clock. And really I'm looking for a place to play C and V for the same reason. Not seeing anything in row M because there's nowhere for the V. Ah, well, I have claves for 27, and I am going with this. Not quite getting to the 400 mark. And opponent goes out. And the final score, 394 for me, 572 for opponent, a winning margin of 178 points. So well done to opponent. Let's see what I missed. Wow, what a game. Amazing performance by opponent. 3 back-to-back bingos, finishing with a triple-triple. Absolute hammer blow to my prospects. So opponent to go first plays Jay-Z. My rack by party, that's nice. J2. Yep. I wouldn't have been sure of that. I played tab for 20, keeping a decent rack leave, so not much between those. Opponent with all these vowels plays IO. And now Pearl, that was my play for 23. Opponent with the blank changes. And what do I do here? I play Wifty for 22, keeping double RS. 2 more points, keeping RSW. Well, the W's pretty non-bingo-y, and duplicate are not terribly problematic, so I don't think there's much between those. Opponent doesn't have a bingo, it looks so close, plays Wick. I have the Q, K3. Well, I play it in column 5, I don't think there's much difference between those. Opponent's still struggling with vowels, plays Ache. And now, I thought about Hydra, didn't like the hooks. I thought L was a hook, but E and S I think certainly are, so I prefer Harry. Great bingo for opponents, and this is the beginning of his charge. It's just 60 points in front at this point. I have Fluid for 37, so I only trail by 20, but here we go. Opponent coming down with his second back-to-back bingo. Oh, wow, missed bingo. Obtended through the O. Wow. Okay, so that would have taken me to 240. I'd still be a long way behind after the triple-triple, but a missed bingo is always a missed bingo. Now, what do? I play Bread for 30, which, yeah, is probably the best play amongst the non-bingos, but this is the instance where the best play is significantly better than the second best. And opponent, how wonderful he must have been feeling with this rack, and plays Shifia for 176. So the game at this point is won. I trail by over 200 points. No bingo for me. And I play Wild for 34. Yeah, and I think that's fine. Opponent plays Ox. N for Serpent. Well, sticking an E above this triple letter square, not good. I play Terpene for 68. And Repents, E3. This is the play I saw later for just 3 more points, which I think would have been slightly better. Now, opponent's rack plays N. So he played off just the E from this rack, keeping a pretty good 6-letter set. I play Gongs for 33. And opponent has Duans. But he could have played it in row E, which would have been a better play, I think, not granting me access to this triple word square. So, my rack, no bingo. And Manto available for 42, but I had in mind that there were 3 tiles in the bag, and I wanted to leave just one. Opponent's rack plays Louis, and I play Claves for 27, that looks fine. And opponent goes out with Tor for 16, which was best. So an absolute blinder from opponent. Amazing run of 3 back-to-back bingos, culminating in a triple-triple to give him an unassailable lead. So many thanks to opponent for a tremendous battle. I hope you enjoyed watching that game. Like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.